Hi, good morning everybody. I'm Shenna with AKA by Design, and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to use Shabby Paint's Vax. Shabby Paint's Vax is one of our top coats. We have two clear top coats. One is varnish, that'll give you more of a satin finish, and then we have Vax, that's going to give you more of a wax matte type of finish. If you've never used Shabby Paint's Vax, I recommend that you try it. If you're currently waxing, I guarantee it's going to be the last time you wax. I'm going to Vax and seal and protect all of these drawers in probably less than 2 minutes. It's so simple, and the end result will last a lifetime, unlike a wax that will break down over time. So what I did was I just put a little bit of Vax in a bowl, and I am working with a damp brush. I'm using an R18 Klingon. You can use a brush or a sponge, and today I'm going to show you how to use a brush. It just depends on the method that you like best. So once you get into Vax, you can try out a brush, you can try out a sponge. I use both, just kind of depending on the day. But again, today I'm going to use a damp brush. The reason why I am using a damp brush is because it's going to allow me to have a little bit more ease in spreading out the Vax. The Vax is a little thick, so you know, it does allow it to spread out a bit easier. So at any rate, I'm just going to dip my brush in there. I'm not going to get a lot on my brush. Remember, when using Vax, less is more. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover the piece with the Vax. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to get along the sides. What I'm also doing is I'm kind of following the grain of the wood too. So if you can see, like the top, I'm going to cross the top. On the sides, I'm going to go down it. Same bottom and top. And then I'm just going to even it out. I'm going to just push it back. And I'm going to get just a tad more. Again, I'm not sure how well you can see my brush, but I just put a little bit on there. Again, like I said, less is more. It's really important to follow that philosophy. You can always build up. But keep in mind, if you get too much Vax on your product, it's going to yellow and it's not going to cure correctly. So again, I'm just going to kind of follow the same pattern. I'm going to apply Vax all over, and then the last coat, I'm just going to lightly kind of follow that grain to ensure that the Vax is going on consistent with the pattern of the wood. I'm just going to push that back. Alright, so when using Vax, you want to do a minimum of 2 coats and no more than 2 coats in a 24-hour period of time. And that's really, really important. So as I mentioned before, it's important to do thin coats and build up, because if you put too much Vax on, it's going to be really tacky. It's going to dry. Like if you have Vax that pulls up in your corners, it's going to get kind of a yellow color. So that's why it's just really important to kind of go back and forth over your piece to make sure that everything is spread out correctly. And that's also going to give you the best finish. So just moving right along. Again, I'm just kind of going over to make sure that I have the top. Just kind of rubbing it in here. I absolutely love Vax. Number one, it's VOC free. So if somebody walked into my home right now, they would have no idea that I am sealing and protecting something, because there's absolutely no smell. And to me, that's important. I have children, and when I used to use a wax product, there are chemicals in those products, and my children were breathing those in. So this is definitely a great product to use to seal your pieces. And when done properly, this finish really will provide the most protection and last a lifetime. And then I'm just moving right along. I'm going to finish up my last 2 drawers here. If I was using a sponge, I would be doing the same type of function here. I would be taking it back and forth, making sure that I'm getting along the sides, the top, the bottom, and then as I finish up, I just kind of do a light roundabout to ensure that I don't have any thickness in one place or another. Okay, and we are almost done here. As you can see, this is easy peasy. I'm not really tired from rubbing it in because I'm just lightly applying it. It's just a really, really great product, easy to use. One of the things we hear a lot is when people who are using the product for the first time, they may get a little bit of streakiness in the final product. And part of that is because, you know, there's several reasons. One could be that it wasn't applied in a uniform manner. Another could be that it was more thick in some areas than another. So I always suggest anytime you're working with a piece, smaller areas definitely are easier because it's very easy for me to kind of go back and forth and really make sure that I have a consistent coat. When you're working on larger surfaces, my recommendation is always to start in the back, go back and forth, and then work your way up. And as I'm doing that, I generally like look in different ways to see, you can kind of see where you have the backs and where you don't, where it's soaking and where it's not. And then you can always go over it just very lightly to ensure that that's spreading out. All right, and just finishing up my last pour here. Oh, and by the way, this piece was done in Alamo white. Shabby Paints Alamo. It's one of the most popular whites right now. I can't hardly keep it in stock. And then I did a wet sand to it as well. A wet sand is a way to give it a very glass-like smooth finish as opposed to having the brush marks in it. So this is just a really gorgeous piece, and I'm so excited to get it finished up here. And there you have it, folks. In less than 5 minutes, I was able to do the first round of sealant on my piece, and I'm going to let it dry completely. I'm going to give it about an hour. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do another coat to it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and definitely reach out to us if you have any additional questions.